On the IFD, we actually stood our ground, drawing inspiration from the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, that even if we have to stand alone, we will stand for what is right, we will stand for truth, and we have ensured that in the long run, the interests of less developed countries and developing countries is protected. On e-commerce moratorium, we have advocated strongly for the digital divide to be bridged, for building digital infrastructure and skill sets in the LDCs and developing countries, and for regulations to empower the developing countries and LDCs for the future. While consensus could not be reached on the period of extension, we have reiterated that the extension of moratorium on custom duties on electronic transmission will be coterminous, and it must align with the TRIPS non-violation NVSC moratorium. So effectively, we have protected the interests of our farmers to ensure that NVSC moratorium will also be extended for exactly the same period that we finally extend the e-commerce moratorium. The final Yaounde package will be finalized at Geneva in the General Council meeting, where we will finalize the WTO reform declaration and work plan, the e-commerce moratorium and work plan, the ministerial decision on moratorium on TRIPS non-violation NVSC and LDC package. These are broadly converging towards consensus. One or two countries have not accepted the e-commerce work plan and moratorium, who are in negotiations with the rest of the countries, and we do hope that an amicable solution can be found in the near future. India has successfully been able to ensure that plurilateral, like IFD, Investment Facilitation for Development, cannot be brought into the Annex 4, the Marrakesh Agreement Annex 4, since we strongly believe that investment has to be linked to trade to enjoy the fruits of the WTO or to be a part of the WTO framework, as well as proper guardrails should come into the plurilateral system, or we should multilateralize the investment facilitation or promotion after everybody is on board with consensus. These things will be further deliberated and discussed to be taken up at some future date, or maybe at some future ministerial. Incidentally, on WTO reform, there was broad convergence. This was projected as a reform ministerial, and a roadmap for the post-MC14 has been drawn up. India engaged with several members in finalizing the draft. I must compliment Commerce Secretary Rajesh Agarwalji and Additional Secretary Amitabh Kumarji, along with the whole team, who put in hours of hard work, spent long nights, burned the midnight oil, but helped bring convergence. Without India's proactive approach, we would possibly never have been able to even finalize the WTO work program. Also, the ministerial declaration was finalized on the reform package, and it's a declaration, it's a package which is not very prescriptive. It ensures that consensus will remain the core of the WTO, while several other issues of India's interests have been protected in the WTO reform package. It also gives room for developing countries to take up issues of their interest in further reform conversations. We have also strongly looked at the reaffirmation of the MFN principle and the SNDT principle in any future endeavors to reform the WTO working.